go dancing with deity, high stepping in gratitude every day of the week. Welcome, friends. It's your boy NOXSOMA here for another 15 minutes of fame. Let's get to it. Welcome back, campers, to another exciting episode of NOXSOMA Life Camp. We got a good one for you today, as we do every day. Now, first of all, I got to give you kind of a disclaimer. Granted, we do not scrutinize the Republicans as much as we should, and definitely as much as we look at the Democrats. The Democrats are much more entertaining. The Republicans are, there's still that mean streak in them. They may be patriots, they may be America first, but, they just always seem so mean. Where the Democrats just seem silly. In this episode, we're kind of questioning our commitment to the AOC watch. I made some observations that already are obsolete, so I may retract them here, but then by the time this gets published, it may seem like the situation has returned to my original observation. So I just want you guys to know that. We get that there are no constants. And even when we make these observational statements or predictions, we know they can change. Between this episode and the last episode, some new characters have shown up. Some new stunts have been performed. And there's something else. I mentioned Hakeem Jeffries in this episode. What I didn't know at the time is that he's a recipient of AIPAC money. So that automatically disqualifies him from your boy here. But I don't participate in that show anyway. But I think the point about AIPAC candidates, and that's American Israeli Public Affairs, I don't know, Political Action Committee, yeah, that's what it is. That makes them viable candidates. So because Hakeem is on the AIPAC list, he'll be able to raise lots of money for a presidential campaign, but he doesn't seem to be into it just yet, laying low. Anyway, check it out. See what you think. If you have any ideas, any questions or suggestions, drop them in the comments box, and then we'll just keep observing until 2028 comes around. Have a great day, friends. Peace.
Our mission is to provide compelling, provocative, healing, life-enhancing content to a global, English-speaking audience. NOXSOMA Life Camp 2.0 is a global healing initiative, 7-year plan that aims to encourage, guide, and instruct individuals to elevate their vibrations, align their frequency with universe, and reconnect with source. Also, to benefit on this material plane, reality through improved health and wellness, happiness, humility, and abundance. As we reach our funding goals, we will be able to advance to the next phase of our calling. Thank you for supporting our effort.
I don't know, friends, whether we can continue the AOC watch or not, because as I was editing and going over the clips, I'm thinking, man, don't the Democrats have anybody else that they can run for president? And then, you know what I was thinking? Whoa, how Hakeem Jeffries, because he popped up in, doing something. So when was it? It wasn't very long ago that Senator, I think he's from New Jersey, I'm not sure, Cory Booker, angry Cory Booker, talked for 25 hours ostensibly to protest the president at the moment, Donald J. Trump. But, from the simulation, it was a stunt. And it sounds to me, or it looks to me like something that he had to do to prove himself. It was one of those Mr. Smith goes to Washington moments. And most people, even if you're under 50, and maybe even if you're under 60, you don't get that reference. But it's a movie. If there's one thing that you absolutely positively need to understand about Democrats, is that they love show business. They love the movies. They love Hollywood. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is about this American country boy patriot or something like that. He's a freshman congressman, and he ends up filibustering, man. He's like a one-man filibuster. And he talks and talks and talks and talks until they have to carry him out of the house or something like that. This is Cory Booker. This is Cory Booker's stunt. This is the Democrats' stunt. And I think it's like the 12 tasks of Hercules, because Cory Booker wants to be president. Cory Booker has run for president before, but I think this 25-hour speech was his initiation. So I think we're going to see and hear more from Cory Booker. It will be, 2026. It's usually the off-year elections when we start seeing who the declared candidates are. I think AOC may have already fizzled out. And if anything, she's a placeholder. I don't get is the new attack dog, Jasmine Crockett. So recently, Jasmine Crockett, who's a representative from Dallas, Texas, she called, oh God, I can't remember his name, but the governor of Texas, she called him Governor Hot Wheels because he uses a wheelchair, right? Republican governor of Texas, and Jasmine Crockett is a Democrat. Now, right back to Democrats loving Hollywood and stealing from Hollywood. If you can remember back to X-Men, when Wolverine goes into the mansion and he's being introduced to like Cyclops and Storm and all of that stuff, he says to Professor X,
"What do they call you? Wheels?"
That was like the first best line of that movie. So Jasmine Crockett, who is portraying herself as tough and street tough and from the hood, which I don't know whether she is or not. I know there was some interview with Don Lemon when Don Lemon seemed to be stoking, maybe in his imagination, a kind of a MMA match between Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a representative from Georgia, and Jasmine Crockett. So I'm telling you, the Dem side is a circus.
Do you worry about her? I mean, do you think she would never do anything physical, or maybe her supporters? I don't know.
I don't worry about her doing anything physical. I mean, people forget that I was a criminal defense attorney. So, there are those that are like, oh, look at her and that hood is coming at her. I'm like, I dealt with murderers.
And I don't really know what they think, but it seems to me like they think nobody's going to notice, man. Now with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, man, like not too many people are going to notice that. Who's watching Jimmy Stewart films? But there's like a whole generation out there that grew up with X-Men. So let's do one more analysis before we wrap this up. You know, it seems like every group has to come up with some word to represent the enemy. And the enemy for the Democrats is the oligarchy. Maybe by extension, oligarchs, maybe the oligarchs that they are depending on to fund their multi-million-dollar presidential or congressional or senatorial campaigns. So AOC and Bernie were out there talking about ending the oligarchy. And you know, Bernie's a socialist, so this is exactly why Bernie is not president today. Because he's a socialist, you know, he doesn't make any bones about it. The fight the oligarchy, or the end the oligarchy Democrats are talking about billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump. They're not talking about billionaires like Oprah and anybody else, Adelson, or the widow of Steve Jobs, or Bill Gates, or anything like that. You know, some of these billionaires who inherited their money, and what do? They get right into media, which media is for mind manipulation. So they take over the media and they set the editorial tone. So anyway, my friends, that's the look. That's the look from the ether and the look from the materium. Remember, on this realm, everything is subject to change. Remember just how a few weeks ago we were talking about how AOC was going to be a candidate in 2028? Well, maybe so. But she's also got a congressional race to run next year. Be well, my friends. Thanks as always. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace. We are running with the idea that US, China, and Russia will be allies in the next decade. And that's what we're running up to now. So if you notice, you may start seeing a lot of Russian history popping up in your video feed, you know, your social media channels and stuff like that. And it's all part of educating Americans about Russian history, because this is going to happen. Still my opinion, but I'm talking about it like it's already a done deal. So another one of those crazy predictions from this channel, and when it comes to pass, you can say you heard it here first.
This program is made possible by viewers like you. No sponsors, no affiliates, no grants, no foundations. Just your subscriptions and contributions. Thank you.